Hello, so I'm going to be installing this Minisplit, this Pioneer Minisplit. So I thought I'd do a video on it and show how to go about installing one of these. You can buy them online. I bought this on Amazon, and I'm going to go through and do a complete setup and install and how you could do it. And this is a heat pump, so both heats and cools. So this is right here is going to be the main unit. It's the main sits outside. Blows heat or cold away, depending on what mode it's in. This right here is going to be sitting up on the inside on the wall, and this is a line set. It's a copper line that runs around, and it's going to have to be run to it between the two units. I buy these pads. They're really cheap on Amazon. You could also put it on bricks or put a cement thing, but I'm just going to use one of these cheap. They're pretty hard little pads. That's just a personal option. And a few other things you're going to need is I bought this cheap air compressor because it's got to go down to a vacuum. So I think that was one's like 50 bucks. I'll put all the links for all this in the description below. And I got a cheap manifold gauge set. I think these were $30. I'll be putting links. And electrical. Now this is the only thing that doesn't come. This does not come with the unit. You have to buy this yourself. And you could buy a simple disconnect, or I like to put them on 20 amp breakers, which is what they call for. So it's just a box I'm going to be wiring up, and but this does not come with this package over here. This is just part of what you'll need for the electrical. And so hopefully this video helps anybody who's wanting to install one of these to see how to do it yourself. As always, be sure to follow the instructions that come with the unit in case anything changes. More than likely not, but you never know. And so basically I'm going to get started right now by installing the electrical, and I'll be showing the steps as I go, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and this is where I'm going to be mounting it at. I'm going to be putting it right here, and I'll be running the line set up the wall on up here somewhere. And I just got done, I'm hooking up the electrical, and like I said, I put a breaker on these. You can run a disconnect. Most HVAC companies will just have a disconnect that pops in and out for if they work on it. I'm putting a 20 amp breaker on it. You can tap into an empty 20 amp breaker on your panel if you have one, which will work the same. But either way, I like to do a little bit extra safety on these. So, and I use this flexible conduit, but you can use PVC or the harder conduit to run up. Electrical panel for me is just right there. So it was pretty easy, pretty simple for me to run. If you're inside the house, you're going to have a little bit harder. And just marked out AC. Really simple run there. But and this unit is a 240 unit. There is some 110, 120 units, so be sure to know what your voltage is and use a meter. Be sure to call an electrician or somebody who knows how to do electrical work before, if you don't know what you're doing here. It's not something you really want to play with. But basically, you know, I'm just running it up and into this panel, and on both sides here, this unit's 240, so I'm going to be getting 240 volts coming through this panel. When I come through now and I tap onto these bottom ones, I'll have a breaker. It'll flip if anything's wrong. And that's the way you wire up these little boxes. It's pretty simple. But like I said, as far as these go, check out some videos on wiring, or call an electrician if you're not sure how to wire up these. But the next step is going to be to level up this base. If you have a cement pad already, or if you don't have one of these, then you can use bricks. It basically just needs to be on something solid, and it needs to be level. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out a little bit around here and level up this pad so I can set the outside condensing unit on it. All right, so I'm back, and I just wanted to show you. Just want to get this this base all flat. Get it in the bubble going both ways here. That way it's on a flat and steady surface is all you want. If you don't have if you already have a cement outside, or if you don't have one of these, you want to use block, whatever is good. You just need a solid base that's a level. So the next step is going to be to go ahead and take this unit out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and take this all out and put it on there, and I'll show you what's in there too. So I'll be right back. And that's the way the unit sits on the pad. It just sits on there. I went and took these plates off, these covers, and this is where all the electrical is going to go. The voltage is going to come in and our control lines from the inside unit. And we're also going to have to run our high and low pressure lines to the inside unit. So basically, we have to cut a hole in the wall like 3 inches with the hole saw and mount it on the inside, which I'm going to go ahead and start on next. Alright, so there's the inside unit out of the box. This is going to be mounted up on a wall, so I'm going to be mounting it up here. It just needs to be level. We're going to have to put a 3-inch hole through the wall to run the line set and the wires. But this is it right here, and here's all it comes with a whole lot of information. You got a owner's manual, you got the installation manual, and always follow this, whichever one comes with it, whatever one comes with your unit, to be sure. I'm giving you a basic overview how to do this, but always follow the instructions. But this is basically it. It comes with a whole package of things. It comes with a little remote control and a user guide. Even got a couple of batteries in here, and a mount for the remote control so you can mount it on a wall, and a bunch of screws to mount it. But the next step is I'm going to go ahead and get this up here, and I'm going to have to figure out where to run a hole through the wall to run all the line set and all the wires to outside. And the first thing we're going to want to do is this back plate needs to come off. It's got a Phillips underneath here, and that just comes off, that screw. And this is what holds it on the wall. So you just want to pull that down right there, and it pops out like this. But this is what holds it on the wall. So we got to get this. You want to mount this first. This is the way these go. And so you want to like figure out where you want it. You have to remember that you're going to need like a 3-inch hole, 2.5 inch. I have to look at the instructions for the exact hole that we need to run the line set and the wires outside. But this needs to be mounted, and so we need to find a stud so that the bolts can hold it well and it doesn't come off the wall. And we also can drill in the correct location our 2.5, 3-inch hole that we need. So that's the next step. I'm going to look for some studs on the wall and drill out the hole. Alright, so I'm done mounting the plate, and that's basically it there. You just want to mount it so that it's level and it's on there solid. They do send these little screws with it, which I didn't like too much, so I put this wood screw right on a center stud. The one thing is it's got to be at least 10 inches. It's supposed to be from the roof to the top, because the air comes in the top is the one thing. You don't want to get too high. If you got up around 8 inches, you'd probably be alright, but it's supposed to be like 10 inches from the top. And then you're going to need a hole to run the line set out. So I'm using a 3-inch hole saw, and I just drilled straight through. You might be able to get away with a 2.5, maybe even a 2-inch hole, but I went and run a 3-inch. So that's basically it. It's up there and it's mounted. And so now I need to feed this through. This is the line set from the unit. So this goes through the hole, and this right here will just sit on that top clip up there. I don't know if you can see that. And these right here, they just snap. So you'll put the top on, and it'll sit on the top, and the bottom will just snap into those two bottom pieces down there. When you're bending this, be a little careful with it. It's pretty easy to bend, and if you kink it, the refrigerant won't flow through it so well, and it'll make it so it doesn't work so well. So just be careful. Try not to kink the copper line set when it goes through. Okay, and for the inside wiring on this unit, this front cover just comes off, it pops up, and I got it laying on its side here because it's easy for me to work on. And it's got a little plate here with one Phillips screw that comes off and then it pops out. And the wiring, you can see that, just feed it up to the back, up to the front, and it needs to come in right here to these where it's labeled 1, 2, 3, and ground. And it's got the schematic right here on the inside of the door, and as you can see, it's got red going to 1. Well, hopefully you can see that. Anyway, it's got red going to 1, it's got black or blue going to 2, and yellow and 3, and yellow-green one going to ground on the inside unit. Unfortunately, the wires they send me are a little different in color code, so I'm just going to have to watch that when I go outside. If the same thing happens to you, it's no big deal. It's just make sure they match when they go outside. So I'm going to go and wire this up. Be sure to follow the instructions. Look at the instructions for yours, because yours might, these come in 110, 115, 230 units. As you can see, the instructions are inside the instruction manual. Plus, they got it labeled right there on the inside of the door. So whatever you do, be sure to follow the wiring schematics that come with your unit. All right, and to just give you a quick shot, that's the way I wired mine in. And as I said, as long as these matched on the outside, the color code, if they're color coded, that's awesome. If not, then just match them to the outside. So in other words, if the outside says 2, and in here you got the black one running to it, make sure outside it's on 2, the black one's going to it. If, you know, on 1 it's red, outside make sure it's the red is going to the 1. So that's basically it on the wiring on the inside. So I need to mount this up and feed everything out through the hole up there and have it set in place. Alright, so there it is. It's up there. It's mounted on the inside anyway. And this front cover, if you pop it open, you can see the wiring is on there going to the outside. Everything's run. So now I'm going to go outside and start to hook up the wires out there and the line set. Alright, so I'm back outside and I got this unit, I got that pointed down. You want to be careful with this line set. When you bend this stuff, as I said earlier, you don't want to kink it, so just bend it really slow. But you're going to need to point it down so that we can screw on the rest of the line set onto here. We're going to need to tighten that onto here. And I got the electrical coming out. It's got this little plastic round thing, so I went and slid that over it, and then on the inside of the wall to help protect it. That gets cut. But the next step I need to do is screw on the line set, which is right there, and connect the electrical. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Okay, so I got these top bolts. I got the line set, the bolts all tightened up there. Be careful when you're screwing those on. Just take your time with them because they can strip out really easily on these here bolts. And I got to go get some half-inch things for this for the wiring. Because I got 3/4 inch, which is too big to go up and screw in there. So I just got those, but I got them the wiring in. I got it all in the way it is. This is from the. I got to redo this line here, but this is from the. This side is coming from the pole, from that box right there. Obviously, I got to finish screwing this in together. And this is from the inside unit. Just make sure they match on the inside what they are. I'm going to go back and double check and make sure because the wiring color code was off on mine. So, and make sure you look at your instructions, follow that. And on the inside of the lid, it has it right here too. So that there shouldn't be no problems there. Make sure you look at this before you go to wire it up. And so the next step would be to vacuum it down and get all the air out of the lines and make sure it's all sealed up. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I still got to do some finish up work on this, but right now I'm vacuuming it down, which is basically this whole line set needs to be have all the air out of it. And it's also a good way to check for any leaks before you let the refrigerant out, the Freon flow to the system. So you use a little vacuum pump and you hook up to the this is the low side, but it's the only hookup we got here. And it'll pull a vacuum, so see it's going below 0. And so I'm going to let that run for like, 10-15 minutes, let it pull a vacuum, and as long as it holds, then I know I don't got no leaks. And then I can let the refrigerant loose, and it's all vacuumed out. So some people use nitrogen, and nitrogen test it first, and then vacuum it out, but as long as it holds the vacuum, you don't got no leaks. But either way, that's basically what I'm doing now. So I got like 10-15 minutes on that, and it won't take anything really special. I'm just using this little $50 unit vacuum pump here, and I think this was like 30 bucks. I can't remember. Like I said, I'll put everything in the links in the description. So right now I'm just gonna let it vacuum down and make sure it holds, and then I'm gonna let the refrigerant loose once I know that the line can hold the vacuum well. So I'll be back. Okay, so I was running it for a while, and as you can see, it went below 0 here, and it's holding, and I've been letting it sit for, I don't know, at least 5-10 minutes with the vacuum pump off and just sitting on there, and it hasn't lost no pressure. If it had lost any pressure, it would go back up to 0, so you know that it's in a vacuum. So basically at this point, I'm going to go ahead and let the lines loose. Okay, so I let the lines loose and I pop these caps off of here because inside of here is, you're going to have to use an Allen key and you're going to have to let these loose, open these up. This is where all the Freon's at. So before you do this, you want to make sure your line set is holding a vacuum all the way. Everything's hooked up. This is basically like one of the last things. I know I still got to wrap some tape around this, make it look a little more presentable, which I'm going to do. That's more cosmetic than anything really, and I still need to go down to Home Depot or someplace and get some 1/2-inch things to hook up for this too, which I'm going to go do. But basically this will let the Freon, or the refrigerant, into the systems. So you only want to do this once you're positive that you got a vacuum and you got no leaks. It's pretty much a last step. So you just turn them, and you'll just open them up to the left, and it'll let it in. Give it a few good turns. Want to do both of them. And that basically lets all the refrigerant into the system. So, see, that came out all the way right there. And once you do this, it's a good idea, you know, just in case those valve stems leak or anything. Screw these on and then tighten them down with the wrench, or get them kind of snug, just in case those, you know, those valve stems, sometimes they like to leak as they age too or whatever. But that's basically it. Next step would be to basically test it out, which I'll be doing next. Okay, so I got it on and it's cooling down. I got it on 65 right now. It's got this little remote. It's pretty cool when you got this little right up there showing the temperature right on the unit. I didn't even see that until it came on. That's pretty cool. And it's blowing out. I'll go show you the outside how that's running. And here it is out here. It's running. I don't know if you could hear it very much. Not making too much noise. But that's basically it. I am going to have to finish up a few things. I need to finish running that water cable down right here, and I need to wrap it all in tape real good. They also have these covers, these things that go right on it that'll cover it real nice if you like. And here, as you can see the way I did this line, I don't know if I showed you that before. I just left it in a circle coming in. But that's basically it. That's how to hook up one of these Pioneer mini splits, which is not very difficult, really, in the end, as long as you're a handy person and you do things yourself. But if you have any questions, ask me, and I'll try to answer them